Yeah, a little stale cracker out there for him, baby. I wish he'd come to Savannah. I'd get him up here on the show. Yeah, I'd get him up here on the show. He'd come down here to Savannah, man. Talk NASCAR, have him whip something up. I'm down with that. I like some stale cracker. I watch him all the time, man. What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang, coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode of Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Man, I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. Got a lot of NASCAR news to go over, recapping that race from New Hampshire. And most importantly, for those parents out there, man, summertime's winding down. We're getting ready to go back to school here soon. So enjoy the last few weeks with the kiddos, man. Starting out the show, man, if you're new to tuning in, we like to start the show out with what we call the word of the day. So basically the way this works is every time I say a word on tonight's episode, you're going to take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I like to say it's age appropriate as well. If you're under 21 and you got a few more weeks left, man, you might as well run the gauntlet, stay up late, burn the candle at both ends, get some sweet tea, get some Red Bull, play along, stay up late, man. So last week, didn't have a show. I had some personal stuff to take care of. Work got me caught up. Anyways, but I'm back, baby. I'm back in full force like Arnold and the Terminator, man. So this week's word of the day is going to be, I have no idea, but every time I say it, take a sip of your favorite beverage, y'all. So getting into that NASCAR news, man, Martin Truex Jr., third victory of the season there in New Hampshire this past weekend. That's the first Cup Series career victory for him. And it means a lot to him. You know, he saw his dad race there. His family kind of grew up racing there in that area. So just a big deal, man. And glad to see the 19 car go out and get it done. And like I said, that's the third point-paying win of the season, 4 if you count the LA Clash. So big kudos out there to the 19. Looks like they're heating up at the right time for sure, man. So a little bit more record book stuff there for Kevin Harvick, man. Makes his 810th career start. Passes Darrell Waltrip, number 8 on the all-time start list. That's nothing to bat your eyes at, man. That's a long career, longevity of a career there. A lot of guys don't even run that long, you know, especially competitively. So, you know, big kudos out there to Kevin Harvick and everything he's done, not only for the sport, but in the sport, man. And hey, another record, you know, number 8, man, in the top 10 in a lot. So good for him. So a little news from last week that I couldn't let slide under the radar. I know everybody's probably already heard, but Ross Chastain and Busch Beer teaming up to join onto that number 1 Trackhouse car next year, Busch being a sponsor. Man, I tell you what, we all know Busch is Anheuser-Busch, you know, and I tell you what, I can't wait to see the watermelon-flavored Busch Beer and the Ross Chastain and Dylan Mulvaney promo commercials they're going to be doing, man. That's hope Ross got his watermelon lip gloss freaking ready, because that's going to be some shit right there, dude. Bam! Square bucket, baby. But, you know, he's got to know I'm just teasing with him, you know. I hope. But, do got to give a big shout out there to social media, man. If you guys haven't yet, please go out, like, share, follow, all that social media. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Most importantly, make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. Well, we had 297. We hit 300, and then 3 people backed out, man. I don't know what the deal was. But as soon as we hit 300, y'all, boom, we're giving away that Dale Jr. little mini hood. Good little piece for the man cave, the garage. You got a buddy out there that's a Dale Jr. fan. Come on, man. This is 06. This is you know, a little bit of NASCAR memorabilia in the history books right here, baby. I mean, this thing still got shrink wrap on it from 06. I mean, it's never been hung up, never been opened up, man. So make sure, if your grandmama like NASCAR, your great aunt, your granddaddy, anybody, man. I don't care if you make fake pages, man. Whatever you got to do, go out there, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Let's get to 300, man. So moving on with that NASCAR news, man, John Hunter Nemechek won that Xfinity race there in New Hampshire. And I tell you what, it seems like in the Xfinity series, Toyota's got it going on for sure, man. I tell you, that's strong over there at JGR. You know, obviously you got Junior Motorsports and everything that they do over there strong as well. A few other key players, but I tell you, man, John Hunter's a really good talent. Glad to see him get a win. Look, I say it all the time. We'll talk about it a little bit more as we get more in depth in silly season. And I got some stuff written down about it, but there's got to be some people that's got their eyes out there on John Hunter Nemechek for sure. SRX debut, man, got underway, got a little shortened up there due to weather. I think it was lightning strikes caused them to shorten it up, and Denny Hamlin won it. And man, I was praying, I was hoping Kenny Schrader was going to go up there, but guess what, man? he's got another shot at him again this week, and I'm going to roll with him again, man. Racing at the same place, Stafford Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, the other one got rescheduled. The race they were supposed to be at got rescheduled due to flooding in that area and everything that was going on. And hopefully everybody up there is safe as well, because that was some craziness. So going to run it again, run it back this weekend. Make sure you tune in that weekend. Thursday night, 9, I'm pretty sure, ESPN. Man, I tell you, Alan Bestwick and those guys do an amazing job calling that race. I think Alan Bestwick could call, a micro machine race inside a phone booth, and it would sound exciting. How we have not got him away for an NBC or even a Fox. How Fox has not even tried to pull some big dollars and get him over there in a booth. Maybe when Mike Joy retires or gets done with it, maybe we'll get Alan Bestwick back over there, because I tell you what, man, he's got a knack for it, and I really like hearing him announce. So did a great job with SRX, but make sure you tune in Thursday and see who wins it, man. We're pulling for old Kenny Schrader out there, baby. Fan of the show. Kenny, go get him, brother. So SVG going cup racing? I don't know, man. Questions in there. I tell you what, after winning in his first career start in a Cup Series car, ever being behind the wheel there at the Chicago street race, I think it's got him hooked. I think it's got him interested. He says this could be the last full season of Supercar for him, trying to move into the Cup Series. I invite him. Come on. Same thing I say with everybody, man. Come on, man. If you got a ride, hey, if that 91 wants to go full team over there at Trackhouse, I think that's some good equipment. I think Justin Marks and them show what they got going on over there. I think that's a good fit. I will say this. All these ovals and super speedway racing is a lot different than getting behind the wheel and going left and right. A lot more than just brake and throttle control once you get on these 1.5 miles in these super speedways. So I invite everybody. I think he's a great talent. I think he can bring some stuff to the sport. There again, the biggest issue with all that is sponsorship. Finding that major sponsor that's going to ride with you, bringing in that $30 million worth of sponsorship or whatever it may be Kyle Busch talked about. You got to find it. And I think that Trackhouse is a good place to find it. I think they got good partnership, but you got to bring something to the table as well. So we'll see what happens, but wouldn't surprise me. We got another supercar guy getting ready to start it up here, coming up Indy road course as well. So stay tuned, man. It's the takeover. They're coming over. International drivers coming over to NASCAR, baby. So silly season has begun, man. And here's just a little recap on it, what we got going and what we know right now. We know Josh Berry's moving over to take over Kevin Harvick when he retires. But Almirola, signed that 1-year deal last year to come over another year. Does he retire at the end of the season? If so, who takes it? Couple names being tossed around. Corey LaJoie got tossed around, which I thought would be an amazing fit, but Spire's trying to extend that contract there with him, which with a guy like Corey LaJoie, from where he started at Spire to where they're at now, it's kind of hard to leave, an organization that you've kind of built from the ground up, honestly. So we'll see what happens there. But Michael McDowell's another name that got thrown around. I think there again, another fitting guy that's been in the Cup Series long enough. But there again has built that organization up to doing what they've been able to do over the last couple seasons, 3-4 seasons now. What do you do? I think there's some other names out there. I think that we run into what we saw with Hendrick Motorsports when Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, hey, I'm done. I'm retiring. At some point in time, you just got to wipe it clean and restart. Bringing in Chase Elliott, and William Byron, and then turning around and bringing in Alex Bowman. Look, he reset the clock there. He got 3 young guys and now 4 young guys. And obviously with the Kyle Larson hire, you can't go wrong there. But you got all young guys, and you did it in the right way. I think that Stuart Haas is just a couple years too late. I think that Chase Briscoe, a very young, talented race car driver, had Kevin Harvick to lean on for a few seasons there. But now, over there at Stuart Haas, you have no veteran driver to lean on. You have nobody to give you the knowledge of, hey, this is some things you can do, try this, try that. We're getting into a time where I think it's time just to reset the clock totally. I think that you've got to take it, and Almirola retires, you got to go get some young blood. And John Hunter Nemechek, I think, is a perfect fit. There again, he had a short stint there in the Cup Series, but definitely underfunded team, not Stuart Haas Racing. So I think, man, at the end of the day, it's something that you got to look at. So we know that's going on. Stay tuned with us all season long to catch up on the silly season as we move forward. It's only going to get more and more silly on things that are going down, so make sure you stay tuned, man. So that's going to wrap it up for the NASCAR news, man. Before we get into the next segment, I do want to pause for station identification right here at Coach's Corner Sports Network. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday, man, and thanks for tuning in to Rubbing and Grubbing, y'all. So getting into that checkered flag for charity, man, I tell you what, I want to thank everybody that's coming up here to Coach's Corner for those Soundgarden events and been chipping in on those Cooler Full of Joys, everything else that we've had going on. You know, I do want to give a big thank you out there for that. If you guys know what we do here, whatever car number wins for that checkered flag for charity is what we add in. And missing last week, we had William Byron win, so $24, and Martin Truex comes out to be that $43. $43 goes in. That brings that yearly total to right at $3,000, dude. I tell you what, again, big thank you to all the Coach's Corner patrons, anybody in this local area that's come out and helped support, you know, Jamie Shearhouse Monroe, everything she's been going through. I've talked to her a couple times. I can't tell you how thankful she is for everybody in the community just coming out and showing the love, man. And that's one thing I always say about Coach's Corner and John and Adele Henderson and the complete staff here and everybody that's involved behind the scenes. It's all local. It's all for good causes. You know, John Henderson does so many things, him and Adele. It's every week there's multiple charity events going on, allowing us to do our checkered flag for charity and our Cooler Full of Joys and different things we do out throughout the NASCAR season. So a big thank you to them. But all of that is possible because of the patrons and everybody that comes here at Coach's Corner. So I say it all the time, if you're up here for lunch, man, having some beers with the buds after work, you want to donate in a checkered flag for charity, say it all the time, doesn't matter, nickels, pennies, dimes, 10, 20s, 150s, whatever it is you got to donate, throw it in. Stop your waiter, stop your waitress, stop your bartender. If you see John and Adele walking by, tell them, man. They'd be more than glad to make sure that it comes to us and gets in the right place. But the best thing about it is it always stays local right here in the Savannah area, man. So, again, big thanks to everybody out there. And continue to come out and show that support, man. We got some stuff coming up we're going to touch base on this weekend. Come out, bring a few extra bucks, man. All kinds of stuff going down this weekend here at Coach's Corner, baby. The place for live music. So getting into that who's hot and who's not, and I'll tell y'all right now, it's July out here in the Soundgarden. Atlanta man's hot. I'll tell you that right now, baby. But before we get into it, got to give a big shout out there to my main man, one of my main sponsors, Arbor Man, Parker Eccles over there at Arbor Man. I tell you what, I hadn't talked to him since he got back from Atlanta Motor Speedway, but when I did, I know them boys are having a good time. So big kudos, shout out to you, brother. Best locally owned and operated tree service in the Savannah area. You'll see that number scrolling on the screen all the time, all night during tonight's episode of Rubbing and Grubbing. Make sure you reach out. Doesn't matter what it is. Cutting some limbs back, full tree removal, stump grinding. If you just need an estimate, Parker will be more than glad to come out and shoot that out there to you, man. Locally owned, locally operated, insured. The man is a legend around here. Done a lot of stuff at my parents' house. Done some stuff over there for Lawrence Bennett and his in-laws and different things. So very good guy. Knows what he's doing, man. We're into hurricane season. Don't get caught slipping. Don't let one of them dead pines fall through your house, man. Call Parker. Let him come out there over there, Arbor Man. Him and his crew take that thing out for you, man. Like I say, no job too big, too small. Give Parker a call, y'all. Love you, brother. So getting into that who's not, man, and we got a new number one. And I think it's without a doubt we know who the new number one is. Yeah, we got a new number one. And that's Martin Truex Jr. I got to give it up to him. MTJ is on its hair. I tell you what, comparison from last year and what they did over there in that 19 camp to what they're doing this year is night and day. And look, I'm going to put it out there. Here's one. Mark my words on it. I hope it happens. I'll take the heat if it don't. If Martin Truex wins the championship this year, which right now, by the looks of it, he could very well do. If he wins the championship, he retires. If he wins it, he retires. He's not going to do, I think, what we've seen a lot of guys, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, a little different day and age and coming into what they're doing. But I think if he wins number 2 championship right here, 38, 40 wins in the career, I think you'll see him retire. That puts him in, consideration for the Hall of Fame. I don't see why the reason to come back again unless you want to try it again. But I figure somebody's got to retire on top. Like one of these guys got to win a championship and just go, the walk-off shot. Like I'm done. I'm retiring from full time at least, right? Drop the mic drop it, call the shot, be done with it. And I think Martin Truex could be that guy. Getting up there a little bit in age, after last year, I think with the frustration and everything of just the way they ran and the equipment that they had, knowing how good it could be, he was frustrated. He came back on a vengeance this year, out on a hunt. And, man, he's been finding them ducks. He's been shooting them, man. Got 3 of them, 4 if you count the clash. So big kudos over there to everything they got going on in that camp. And I think as we get into the summer, we got some good tracks for Martin coming up. It's only going to continue to roll forward, man. Number 2, come on, baby. I got Kyle Young Money Larson up there. Dollar symbols, dollar bills, yo. I mean, look, although I think they've lost a little bit as far as the speed goes and being up front leading laps and contending for those wins, they have been finding a way to make the adjustments to the car and get good finishes. I mean, he finished, what, 5th this weekend, 4th this weekend, something like that. Top 5 anyways, I know. Top 7, I think, at worst. So, you know, you can't count Kyle Larson out. He's just that good of a talent, and the combination between him and Cliff Daniels and that whole crew over there in the 5 camp for Hendrick Motorsports is just one of the best, top 3 in the sport. I put it as number 1. But, you know, top 3 in the sport for sure. They communicate well. They bring fast cars to the racetrack, so that tells me that shop's toned in to what their needs are. They don't hit very often, or they don't miss very often. And when they do, it's the only team I've seen pop the hood and make changes on 2 stops and go from running 20th to 5th. So I don't know what they putting under that hood, but, man, it's got some juice in it. I tell you that. They're doing good. So he's going to be number 2 until he's got a few bad weeks of just coming in, hitting and missing. And right now they're just not doing it. So number 2 on the hot list, Kyle Larson, baby. Number 3, I swapped this up a little bit here, man. It ain't Chase the Bulldog Elliott. I feel like the last couple of weeks have been mediocre. 13th place finish at Atlanta. 13th place finish there at New Hampshire this weekend. So I feel like I got to do him. Kyle Busch, I feel like I got to take him off too. You know what I mean? Had some hot starts, gotten good finishes, but not contending up front for the wins, and a bad run there at New Hampshire. We'll talk about a little bit more on that. So I'm going to use this and give a shout out to a couple guys I think that are doing the damn thing and doing what the hell they need to do, man. And that's bad Brad Keselowski and Michael McNugget McDowell, baby. I tell you what, them boys are doing it. Let's see, these 2 guys have been having solid runs as of late. I don't think that's out of the possibility of seeing one of these guys win the race. I know Brad Keselowski's got back-to-back top 10 finishes. I know McDowell, I think, has got a few top 10 finishes there as well. Look, I think they're heating up. I think it's speaking volumes of being able to run and contend up there, not just, you know, get a finish up there by pit strategy or a 2-car tire call when guys take 4 or whatever it may be. These guys have shown speed. And I think there again with Brad Keselowski, you got Daytona there, you got McDowell there. Daytona is that cutoff race. It's not out of the realm of possibility these guys in the last 5 could sneak a win off one of these. So I do want to give a big shout out and big pat on the back to those 2 teams. I think both of them, especially Brad Keselowski at RFK, from night and day last year from just the consistency and the speed they've shown, with McDowell kind of moving into being that top 10, top 12 regular name. So I think it's awesome. I think it's paying dividends for them. And I really enjoy what they're doing and watching them have fast race cars. So hats off to you, gentlemen. Keep up the good work, baby. Keep those fast race cars coming out of those camps. Get that win. So now into the who's not. And I just touched base on it, and I hate to do it. I really hate to do it, but my boy, Chase the Bulldog Elliott, got to be on the not list. And look, I'm a huge Chase Elliott fan, baby. I am diehard Chase Elliott. I will take Chase Elliott to win a race 9 times out of 10 if we're just betting driver for driver. But at the end of the day, I think that missing the 7 weeks has just killed the momentum ball. It's killed a little bit of that communication and relay, and with Alan Gustafson and that whole 9 crew. Now, do I think he's going to win and make the playoffs? Hell yeah, I think he's going to win and make the playoffs. I think when we get to these road courses, he's getting ready to pop off 2 back-to-back, baby. I think he might even do it again this weekend. He won here last year. It could happen, baby, but got to get stage points. You know, to find yourself pointing in after missing 7 races, everybody else ahead of you has got those stage points, man. They've got a lot, and we all know what stage points matter when you get to the playoffs. Now, it doesn't matter if you wheel a win off in each one of those, you know, round of 16, round of 12, round of 8, you get those wins, you're locked in. So is it possible that Elliott can do it? Hell yeah, it's possible Elliott can do it. But for right now, just not running up front, not being top 5, not leading laps, I think, you know, he deserves to kind of be on the not list for the caliber of race car driver and team and the standards that we hold him to as fans. So, Bulldog, come on, man. Go out there, do something for me. I did read some news, man. I'm pretty sure Chase Elliott just had some x-rays done this past week, checking on that broken leg. Everything's fine, fine there. But they did, x-rays did come back and found out he does have that dog in him, baby. Go get him, Chase. Another Hendrick driver, Alex the Showman Bowman, man. 2 out of the 4. We batting 50-50 on the hot and not list right now. And 2 more drivers got to make the knot. And Alex, same scenario. I think coming back from that injury, just hadn't found the head of steam that he needed. I think that there again, this is another guy that can turn around and win a race, or he has a possibility of, I think, really pointing his way in with some things swimming his way in good runs. But again, got to get those stage points. You know, I think right now, again, when you're in Hendrick equipment, you're expected to maintain those top 12 of points almost year in and year out. I don't think we should be talking about who's fighting for the bubble as a Hendrick driver without missing races. I think those guys have good enough equipment and enough talent behind the wheel. They should be in that top 12. Last year, a little bit different with all the winners. This year, I think that we've kind of found that normality again and watching guys reel off more than just a race or 2 wins. So he's got to figure out what it is. They've got to start unloading better. He's got to qualify good, and he's got to maintain that track position, run up front, get some stage points, man. So for right now, Alex Bowman on the not list, baby. That's going to wrap it up for the Who's Not. I didn't go in 3 deep. I didn't want to keep bashing on the guys I've been bashing on all season. It's easy to talk about them, but at the end of the day, we're only going to run those 2 right now. So, again, we're going to pause for station identification right here at Coach's Corner Sports Network. Rubbing and grubbing, baby. Talking NASCAR. Drinking cold water, man. Whew! It's hot out here, y'all. Let me get a refill. Thank you, sir. I tell you, it's paid dividends. John did some upgrades right here. I got a tent right here that blocks the sun. We in years past, every year that we've done it up here on the Soundgarden stage, and we get to about this time of day, that sun is perfect right there. And I got a tent up there now, so hey, I'm down with that. At least I'm not sitting directly in the sun, man. Pretty much born and raised here. I was born in Illinois, but raised here, man. We all know I've been here 35 out of my 38 years, and I'll tell you this. I don't give a damn where you from. There ain't no getting used to this, all right? Even if you born here, you from here, we just deal with it better than others. I tell you, we don't get frustrated out working in it. We don't do a lot of things. We just sweat and take it. But this different kind of heat down here, y'all. I'm telling you that right now. So getting into that New Hampshire recap, man, what a great race. I thought that was I thought last year's New Hampshire race was great as well. I think a lot of people kind of downed it, but I think year 2 for next gen car, dude, that was a great race. We saw some passing. We saw some battling. We saw Christopher Bell pass about 70 cars there. A lot of different guys. You know, we saw some battles there. So I think it speaks volumes on what we got in this next-gen car. If we can get the tire compound right, which I think they hit on at New Hampshire, I think that was great. Didn't put down any traction control. We saw guys running higher lines than we've seen since the early 2000s, according to Dale Jr., so I think we saw some things that's coming back in. We're getting back to a little bit of old school with a new school car. We all knew New Hampshire is one of the hardest tracks to pass on, but guys made it look easy this weekend, and we saw a lot of guys battling back and forth. So 3 wide racing, 4 wide almost at some time. So check that off as to me being one of the top 10, top 12 races of the season. If you ask me, and once the season's over, we'll go through and run a list. But I thought it was great, man. Again, like I said, Martin Truex Jr. finally got that sneaky lobster that's been evading him for so long, and I hope he ate it, man. I hope he chowed down on them big old claws in that tail. Boy, I hope he ate that lobster. He deserved it, man. Like I said, over 1,000 laps led at that track, and this is his first win, and that's hard to believe. And, you know, we always talked about Martin when he started his career out as not being a great short track racer. But over the last 4 to 5 seasons, he's just been popping them off. Martinsville, X amount of wins, 3, 4 wins there. Everywhere we go, I feel like Martin Truex Jr. is a contender for sure on those short tracks, man. So glad to see him get that win there. I know that's, you know, maybe not necessarily a home track, but it's a home area track to him. And there again, a lot of history for his family there with his dad racing there and all of them coming through the ranks. So pretty awesome deal. Good to see that for you, Martin. Glad for you, brother. What a way to do it, man. Christopher Bell looked strong all race long. I tell you what, man, that dude looked like the guy to beat at the end of stage 1. Comes in, pit road penalty. Got to come back through. Got a penalty. Comes all the way back up through the damn field. Gets up there, had a caution, come back in. Didn't get it tight. Got to come back down. Drives all the way back through up there again. Gets up there in position. Top 5, top 7 again. Race going on. Tried a little different strategy. This and that. Gets caught up. Overdrives it. Backs it into the wall. Heartbreaking for that young kid, man. I tell you, I think this is one, and the career stats we gave out, week before last. 5 career starts, 6 now. Only finished outside the top 2 finishers once, and that was this past weekend. When you want to talk about a guy that just fits in the wheelhouse and they got a setup figured out at New Hampshire, Christopher Bell is going to be something to reckon with the next few years. Probably a good bit of his career there at New Hampshire. So hate to see it for him, but somebody's got to take the L, and unfortunately it was Christopher Bell, man. Another guy that I think had it worse than Bell is Eric Almirola. Boy, I tell you what. Almirola's had a knack there at New Hampshire, had really good runs. I tell you what, I thought he was going to be one of the only cars that could contend with Martin Truex Jr. up there up front. Kept that track position all day long. They never gave up the track position on pit road, but what they did forget to do is get the damn lug tight on a 2-tire stop. And he even hit it a few times, man. They showed the replay, and that wheel was just spinning, and that lug wasn't going tight. And, man, when they restarted and they tore off in there, I was almost heartbroken for Eric Almirola, man. Clearly you saw it. The wheel get the wobble. Straight to the wall we went. Never got it tight, man. And, God, that's heartbreaking. But, when you talk about a guy in the sport that knows how to take the good with the bad, handle his business, get out of that race car, hot or not, his fault or not, get out and go, hey, you know what, bad break there, I support my team, big shout out to Smithfield. That's probably one of the most sponsor-friendly and just very young race car driver. If you're young out there and you want to watch a guy know how to talk to these cameras and do his thing, Eric Almirola is one for sure. He got out and said, hey, man, you know what? We win as a team, we lose as a team. It is what it is, out of my hands, but we're going to continue to move forward. And I've got a lot of respect for that. I've always tried to pick a driver that did that, and I've got a lot of respect for Eric Almirola. Even though he's not one of my favorite driver, he isn't my favorite, I respect the hell out of him, man. So big kudos out there to Eric, and I hope if this is the last year and he does set to retire or change teams or whatever he may do, I hope he gets him a win this year. It's been one kind of those years for him, and I thought this weekend might have had a shot there, man. KFB, baby, 3 Chike High. I don't know how many times that some bitch hit the wall this weekend, and at least 2, I know. Backed it in qualifying, hit it again there, and ruined his day, it looked like. But I tell you what, he got out. He was responsible. He was a little adult about it. I'll give him that little bit of respect. He's not my cup of tea. I think he's getting older and raising kids, and he's calmed down a little bit. I think the fire's still in him, but I'll give him that. But, yeah, backed it in the wall, wrecked his day there at New Hampshire, pulled it in, said, that's it for me. And you saw a guy like Corey LaJoie's team battle back, fix it up, do what they had to do, and go out there and compete. I think that's just the difference of multi-million-dollar contracts and a contract, and just an underfunded team to a big team just going, yeah, whatever. So we all know he's playoff bound. He's locked in. Baby, he's got 3 wins. So not going to rag on him too hard, but bad break for the 18 there. I had him picked, I think, as my number 1, honestly. If not, I know he was in my top 3. I had him picked top 5. I know that. So unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, but he'll be back. Pocono, he'll be back in the top 5, top 7, top 10 at worst, guaranteed. So all in all, again, man, great race there at New Hampshire. I love the fact that Next Gen put on a good show and showed some consistency at a short track. I think Martinsville is the next one where you really got to get to work at. I think Richmond put on a pretty decent show. Dover was awesome, which I don't know. I can't really consider Dover a short track to me. It's a mile track, high banked, high speed. It's not so much short track to me. But this one, consistency. I like that out of the Next Gen. I think Martinsville, we got to figure it out, whether that means taking away all the aero diffuser and giving them more horsepower, or a softer tire compound where the tires melt off in 30, 35 laps, whatever it is. We got to pit 9 times during the race. We got to figure something out. Maybe that's the new Martinsville. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's, the tire compound's so soft it chews them up and we got to pit 9 times. Maybe it's, there brings back the strategy of guys to stay out on late tires, because I can tell you what we're doing now with no passing and following the leader around Martinsville, it takes away pretty much the only thing that I think gave Martinsville the knack, and that was single file for the most part, maybe outer group side by side for a while, but eventually you're going to have to touch the guy on the inside to move him. And with the Next Gen car, we've lost that. We haven't been able to get that back. So good year. If you're listening, Martinsville, if you guys are listening, pretty sure that's a Bruton Smith owned track. Not positive. Marcus Smith now, I'm not sure. But if you're listening, man, soften them damn tires up. 30, 35 laps, baby, and them things are done. Let's soften them up. Let's try something new at Martinsville if we're not going to change the car. So anyways, great race at New Hampshire, man. Loved it. Getting into the Pocono preview, man, but before we do, I got to hydrate, man. Like I said, while we wait, y'all hydrate, baby. What is it? Yeah, a little stale cracker out there for him, baby. I wish he'd come to Savannah. I'd get him up here on the show. Yeah, I'd get him up here on the show. He'd come down here to Savannah, man. Talk NASCAR, have him whip something up. I'm down with that. I like some stale cracker. I watch him all the time, man. All right, man. Getting into that Pocono, baby. We headed to the freaking tricky triangle. Used to go twice a year. Now we go once, man. So that's throwing these guys for a loop. Very unique track. Nothing out there like it. 3 different turns, baked different, angled different. The radius of them are different. I tell you what, you can't set up for all 3 of them. You got to pick 2. And you got to pick 2 of them that you think your car is going to handle the best at, where you're going to make the time up, and go with it, man. Chase Elliott won it last year. I will give you a little piece of tidbit. He ain't who I got on my number 1 on my top 5. And we'll go back over that here in just a second. But can he do it again, man? Needs a win. Really needs a win. Not only does Chase need a win, I need Chase to win, because Matt Harrington, a really good supporter of Rubbing and Grubbing in Coach's Corner, me and him had a little $100 bet from back in the spring at Atlanta, and I said Chase Elliott going to win 4 races. And he ain't won 1 yet, and the season's winding down, baby. I got to get this in. I got to get some wins. I can't give him up the hundo, man. I can't lose the hundo to him. So, Matt, if you watching, baby, I'm coming for that $100, baby. That Ben Franklin going to be mine, man. But make sure you tune in Sunday. Let's find out who does it there at Pocono, baby, in that tricky triangle. So, here we go, baby. Top 5. Number 1 on my list, I'm taking the 19 car Martin Truex Jr., man. I think he's too hot not to. I think 3 race wins. I think it's Toyota. I know a teammate there that's hunting for a big win, which he's on the list just a little further down. But Martin Truex Jr. hot right now. I think he took over the point lead, if I'm not mistaken. Byron had it for a week. Martin Truex Jr. got it now. I see that 19 car contending. I think he started 8th there last year, finished 7th, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. That one just came off the top of the noggin. But at the end of the day, I think he can go out there and get it done. So I'll take him number 1. 2 for me, another guy, William Byron. William the Kid, baby. William Big Hat Byron. Man, another guy that's on a tear this season. Maybe not the showing they wanted at New Hampshire. Looked strong in stage 1, but I don't know if they just made the wrong changes to the car. Couldn't get the handling in it what William wanted, but that happens. When you got 4 wins on the season, 3 wins on the season, 4 wins on the season, that can happen, man. So, they'll get it together. They'll be back. I'll take them 2. 3 for me. 3 Chai Kyle Busch, baby, I'm telling you. I think Pocono's a good track for him to rebound after a bad run. And I don't see anybody out there contending with him right now. I mean, 3 wins as well at the RCR camp. So we all know the talent that's behind the wheel. Now, can we put the rubber to the road and make it happen again and get that 4th win of the season? We'll see what he does. But I know Kyle Busch likes to win. He said all he does is win, 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 no matter what, matter of fact. But I don't know. We'll see if he can do it this Sunday at Pocono, baby. Oh, man, my phone died. Hold on, y'all. I got to get my battery back up. I pretty much know it by heart, but 4 for me, Young Money Larson, baby. You can't go anywhere without taking Kyle Larson. Again, like I said, been a little bit on the colder side by his standards. Hadn't been up front leading laps contending, but, hey, man, I know he can do it. We've seen him do it, numerous times. So I think Pocono's a good track for him. I think when it comes down to it, that bow tie, that Chevy speed, is going to pay dividends this weekend. You better have some speed in it, and I think them boys got the speed. So I'm definitely going to take Kyle Larson there again, baby. 5 for me. Now, this is a big milestone in a guy's career, and I think this deserves to be talked about, and that's Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's hunting his 7th Pocono win in a career this weekend there. And I think Denny Hamlin is a guy that has a knack for Pocono. This top 5 list I got here is a little bit different than my list I write out for our game of skill we do. But I will tell you this, I got Denny Hamlin on both. He's just a little higher on the other one. But Denny Hamlin in that 11 car, 7 Pocono wins. If he can go and get it done this weekend, I think he's hunting for it. I think after he talked some smack about Kyle Busch last week, which I'm going to stir the pot, he did talk some smack about him, going he was unsure about Kyle making the championship 4. Thinks he might make the round to 8. He's just kind of wishy-washy. Doesn't really know what to think about Kyle. I'm going to stir it up. I think Kyle Busch has just as good a shot as Denny Hamlin. Kyle Busch got 3 wins this season. I don't know how many Denny Hamlin got, but I know it ain't 3. At the end of the day, I think he can go out and get it done there at Pocono, so I'll take him 5, baby. Dark horses. they're not very dark again. I mean, it's kind of coming to the light, these guys that get really good odds, which I saw the opening odds, and me and Lawrence are going to go ahead and place bets either tonight or tomorrow morning if we got some opening odds, because I'm done waiting on qualifying. I'm done with that. I'm telling you now, man, the 6 of Brad Keselowski, 23 of Bubba Wallace, and 34 of McDowell are all safe bets. I think for another guy who's had a couple down weeks, you better be watching out for Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs in that 54 car, knowing what his teammates are doing in that speed, knowing the top 10s runs, top 12, 13 runs he had going before a couple bad mishaps. I think right now is the time for that 54 might sneak in and get him a win, baby, so be on the lookout for that as well. All right, man, getting into the money line, but before we do, money line presented by Redfin Polarized Sunglasses, baby. Whether you got money on the line or a wall hanger, make sure you see it clearly with the best polarized sunglasses on the planet. Italian frames, Carl Zeiss polarized lenses, man. These sunglasses were made for the woods or the water, or even better yet, they made for pleasure as well, man. So make sure you check them out. You can go on their website. They got all new frame colors in too. I saw that, man. They got all kinds of new stuff going on. Like I said, man, whether it's offshore or on the lake, do not be caught without your red fins, baby. And as always, live life fins up. Check out that website. Go to that checkout. Use code Rubbin'n'Grubbin15. That's going to save you 15%. There he is. Kyle Busch himself in the house, baby. Kyle Busch. KFB, baby.
Love you, man.
What's up,
Love
brother?
you, brother. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Love you too. Always a pleasure, baby.
Right here at
Sean, man, I'm telling you. You know, Kyle, only Kyle Busch fan. One of the only Kyle Busch fans I like right there. I will say that, man. Brother from another mother right there, man. But, yeah, like I said, man, getting into that money line, I tell you guys, I mean, the favorite with Denny Hamlin doesn't possess the biggest odds, right? Plus 550 ain't going to win you the bank, but it might break you even. So I'm definitely not going to be caught red-handed without him, and Kyle Busch as well. Both of them are up there. Man, when you look next, Larson and Byron both have some odds that can make some money. Plus 750 there for Byron, or plus 750 for Larson, plus 900 for Byron. Chastain, Elliott, Logano, all really good odds, plus 1,000 plus. Definitely going to be labeling up a couple of those guys in our lineup. Last but not least, if you're looking for those big hit, opening odds have Brad Keselowski at 3,500. Ty Gibbs both as well. Really big potential. Maybe not to win if you want the big sweep to win, but also for those top threes. If you run those top threes or top fives on your site, make sure you check out those as well. I tell you what, man, we hit pretty good. Not bad. We won the Willie B Cup race at Atlanta at plus 1,800, so that put us really good shape right there. John Hunter Nemechek for 9, so that ain't too bad as well, baby. We hit 250 on John Hunter this weekend, 325 on Martin Truex. Now, the Martin Truex, we actually gave up a little bit of units on our total bet on what we bet, but something's better than nothing, baby. I'll tell you that. So glad we got that one there. But hey, overall, man, that puts us up 7,975 units on the year, baby. We are in the money. We are not in the negative. We are far from the negative. So at a few tracks coming up, we still got some wild cards, Daytona, Talladega, some road courses. Depending on the odds, you might see me and Lawrence throw the house at it, baby, just to try to get a sneaker. I got to have somebody big win. I got to have some money. If I'm going to bet some big money, I got to have some big money coming back. So we'll see what happens. But I tell you what, man, going to be amazing. But we're doing good. So, like I said, make sure you can check it out. Lawrence posts it on our social media every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, depending on the lineup. We bet on all 3 series. But definitely make sure you check out, follow us on our social. Lawrence will throw those up there. Tell me who you got, man. Tell me who I missed something. I will say this. There's some other sites out there to do some betting things as well. And there's a couple guys out there that we speak about the same language. They might have 1 or 2 different guys and doing some different things. But we're all on the same wavelength, which I really enjoy. But make sure you check us out, man. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Follow that social, y'all. So getting into that hard right turn, sponsored by Lamar's Body Shop. But before we do, I got to give a big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lamar, up there at Lamar's Body Shop. 35 plus years taking care of Savannah's auto collision needs, all in the local area, man. I tell you what, nobody does it better. Doesn't matter what you need. Paint job because your girl keyed it up. You got in a wreck, man, need a new bumper, new hood, whatever it may be, make sure you go see Lamar. 2301 Skidaway Road, hop, skip, and a jump away from coaches. So it's a win-win. You can drop it off for the estimate, come here, eat lunch, go back and pick it up. It's a win-win, man. Again, 2301 Skidaway Road, the best auto collision company in the business in this area. Lamar's Body Shop, baby. As I always like to say, why settle for par? Go see Lamar, man. Love you, dude. So getting into the hard right turn. I got to take a couple sips of water, man. Hopefully it doesn't start coming out of my eyes at tears because it hurts me to write this. And it's not negativity or directly directed towards him himself. But this is about playoff bubble, heading in, and all the talk up on Elliott. Is the point system a failure? Tell me, is the point system a failure? I mean, look at it this way. What can we do, man? Can we go back to you got to win to be in? Can he win? Can he do this? Look at it. At the end of the day, now he's got to win. I think the points are all said and done unless he has something that comes up. Some guys ahead of him that really have some bad luck. I think he's got to win to get in. What I'm saying is, basically what I'm getting at is if a guy can miss 7 races and make the playoffs, is the playoffs faulted? Is it wrong? I mean, you have guys that run this schedule full season. You have sponsorship that's scheduled for full season. Again, we're talking Hendrick Motorsports and we're talking, NASCAR's favorite driver. But being non-biased, and look, I'm a huge Elliott fan. You see the gear, you see the Elliott hat, baby. This is my man. When Gordon retired, I went on to Elliott, and I'll root until he retires. That's just how I roll. I like other guys, but not my favorite. Now, what I'm going to say is this. If you can have a guy that missed 7 races and makes the playoffs, what's that have to say about the guys that miss out but raced every single full schedule because of it? Now, it's a double-edged sword, and I will say this. I think that NASCAR has to take a look. I think that NASCAR says, okay, if you miss 3 races, we will give you a playoff waiver. You can still make it in on points. If you miss anything over 5 races, okay, or maybe if we go under 3 races, you get a waiver. You can point in. If you miss more than 5, you've got to win to get in. The points are out of the question. Doesn't matter if you finish 13th in points. You got to win to make your way in for missing those 5 races. I mean, it's an idea, right? Now, the double edge of that sword is if he's good enough to be sitting 22nd and point 60 back and he points his way in, what's that say about the guys that are above him? If you're able to miss 7 races and still have that many points, what's that say? So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't know what the solution is to it, and I see both sides of the argument on it, right? But I look at it like this. I look at it as an aspect of there's got to be a fine balance for major teams like the Hendrick, like the Joe Gibbs, and RCR I think's building back, and like Penske, that if you have a driver that gets hurt, if you have a guy, doesn't matter if it's in a race car, outside of a race car, or doing a recreational activity, if you get hurt, for those major teams, knowing the money, 1, that they bring into the sport through sponsorship, but 2, knowing the money they have, there's got to be some kind of penalty. I don't think you can take a waiver away. I don't think you can say this guy can't make the playoffs. I just think you make it more difficult. If you win, if you miss 3 races or under, you can point your way in. If you, miss anything over that, then you've got to win. You got to win. There is no more points. So we'll see what the fine balance is there and what NASCAR comes to do, but I think something's got to change. I think with the win and get in system, especially now not having to maintain top 30, which everybody pretty much does, that's a contender, you got to figure something out. We got to figure out a way to penalize guys that miss races. We got to figure out a way to penalize the big teams that are able to still maintain the points from stage points and running up front and give those smaller guys a chance to contend for those playoff spots. So we'll see what they do, but that's just my thoughts, man. So that's going to wrap it up for the rubbing. We are on to the grubbing, baby, and I've got one of my special menu items. One of my favorites. We do this quite often up here, but I was in the mood for one. I hadn't had one in a while, so I got to get one. And we're rolling with it, baby. So I didn't go grand slam tonight. I just went home run, and we got that home run burger, and hopefully the Braves are getting ready to light that ass up and hit some more home runs tonight, but we just can't allow the other team to score more damn runs than we are, man. But I got that home run burger. Baby, I got a lettuce, tomato, pickle, the works, lettuce, bacon on that bad boy, single patty. Now, you can go grand slam, which I really like to do, and I like to throw pickles, and I like to throw chili on that bad boy when it's for me. But classic burger, half-pound patty, loaded up with that crispy bacon. This thing is amazing. If you hadn't had a burger from Coach's yet, it's awesome. And, dude, I'm going to do this. I went onion rings. Let me show y'all something. Look at the damn size of this onion ring, man. That damn, look. Man, that's like your 1983 girlfriend's big hair bracelet right there, baby. You know what I mean? Like, that's some style and class right there on them onion rings, baby. Nobody does it like Coach's. I'm telling you, some of the best food I have found in this area, man. So make sure you guys come check it out. There's not one bad thing on the menu. If you want to make some changes, do it your way. If it's fathomable, kitchen staff up here at Coach's Corner will make it happen for you, baby. So that's going to wrap it up. Oh, man, that ain't going to wrap it up. I'm leaving my coach, my main man, Coach Carl DeMasi out, baby. Carl DeMasi's Prep Sports Report live every single Saturday right here at Coach's Corner, Soundgarden, bringing it to you, keeping you up with all them high school sports and everything else goes along with it. Football, basketball, golf, swimming, lacrosse. What else? They got bass fishing, archery. They got everything, baby. So at the end of the day, make sure you come up. Tune in and check out Carl DeMasi live every Saturday, 9 until Coach runs out. Prep Sports Report. Hey, and also make sure you go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's got one out there for the Prep Sports Report. Spread the love, baby. Subscribe. Tell everybody, man, in this area you want a man that's knowledgeable, knows his ish about what's going on, has those local high school players that are up and coming. Carl DeMasi's the man. Subscribe to that channel. Also, Who's on First Base podcast dropping every single Tuesday night. You can stream that and find that where you stream your podcast. That's Coach Carl DeMasi as well with the baseball guru Kyle Lawson, breaking down everything MLB. We're after the All-Star break, baby. It's time to start where we're sitting at divisionally. Before long, we'll be starting to talk about who's in those wild card races, man. They're already starting to heat up. So, hey, you're looking for somebody that knows your baseball, wants to listen to some baseball, talk some baseball, those two dudes can do it. I know once I get out of here, I'm getting ready to go turn this Braves game on, baby, and chop it up. So chop on Braves. Let's go ATL, baby. So that's going to wrap it up. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday, man. I hope everybody's had a good summer. I usually use this point in the show to talk about something near and dear to the heart or a social issue we got going on. And I didn't want to bring us down, right? After all the social things have been going on, I didn't want to bring us down. So we're just going to prep it up, man. I hope all the families out there have been having a great summer, spending the time with their kids, making those memories, seeing family that you don't get to see, traveling, doing something out of your normal, man, trying something new, whether it's food or whether it's going bungee jumping or whether it's, teaching your kids how to swim or whatever it may be, man. I hope everybody's out there had such a good summer in 2023 that, we're able to remember and wash away the memories of 2020 summer and all the things that we battled with all that, made some new ones and what we lost out on then, man. That's what it's all about. As our kids are young, we take for granted as adults sometimes the time that we spend away doing different things and not spending that time with them as much as we feel like we should have, even though we did. So it's nice to be able to catch up and do that when you have that time. So I hope everybody, whether you're a school teacher, a doctor, a surgeon, a brain surgeon, or a rocket scientist, even if you're out here working 3 jobs to help support those kids, I hope you did whatever you did to spend that time with your family, man, because that's what, honestly, summertime's all about, baby, making memories. Till next time, I'm out. As always, stay safe. Hug your loved ones, give them a kiss, and as always, till next time, bam, baby. Wash your hands, y'all. I'm out. Man, it's hotter than 2 rats screwing in a wool sock out here, dude.